What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day and welcome back to another poker vlog. This one is very special as we are playing at the Bellagio 510, mixing it up again at the Bellagio 510. Last time we played there, it was a bloody bloodbath of a session, but today it's actually Super Bowl Sunday and it's before the game, so trying to mix in a quick session, see what the action's like before the Super Bowl starts, and yeah, hopefully we run things up and it will definitely be a fun episode, so let's get into it and hopefully you enjoy this one. The room is packed here before the Super Bowl starts, and we are playing the 510, sitting with 1,500 buying in for the max. First hand in, we have ace king off on the button with an under the gun strat, also playing 5-10-20. Five-handed here, I open things up to $60, and we get the under the gun straddle to call. Let's go to a flop. Flop is 9-6-3 rainbow. He checks to us and totally whiffed this flop here in position. I'm going to check it back and hopefully see a good turn. The turn is a 3. Board is paired and he bets out $100. A little annoyed here at this very massive bet, and it honestly seems a little too big for value here. I'm not sure how often this is a bluff from this opponent, but early on I decided to be a little sticky and call, praying he's on a draw. The river's a 4. He checks, and now I don't know what the right move is here. I think ace king high has enough showdowns, so I don't know. I check it back. He shows us ace 6 of diamonds, and he is going to take this pot down. Maybe a river bet would have done the trick, but in this instance, we just let him have it. Second hand, still on the button with ace 3 of diamonds, and there's an under the gun limp action onto me. I'm going to raise it up to $40. The big blind calls for 40, and the under the gun limper actually folds. Let's go to a flop of ace king 8 rainbow, and she checks to me, and with top pair, we kick her. We definitely can check back sometimes, but let's just go for value against this big blind. I bet small for $30, and she calls for 30. Off to a turn, which is a deuce of spades. Once again, when she checks to us, I'm going to bet small just to target king X. Sometimes maybe she improved to a flush draw, so I throw out $40, and once again, this $40 sizing. Too friendly for her, she calls. The river is a 7. She checks for a third time, and I think in a normal 1-2-2-5 game, thin value here is definitely the move, but here, I think we're just going to check this back given it is 5-10, and if we were to face a check raise here, it's just terrible. I check back, she shows king-queen, so maybe we could have gotten some extra value, but we're going to take this one down with a pair of aces. Next spot we get involved in with ace-queen of diamonds in the hijack. Action folds to me, and I opened it up to $30. We get the small blind now to 3-bet us to 120. Action folds to me, and this is by far a very easy decision to just defend this. Facing a normal 4x 3-bet sizing, I call to see a flop. With 240 in the middle, these 3-bet pots are just much bigger compared to 2-5, but let's try to see a good one. The flop is 8-7-3 2 spades. Well, not a good board for us, but when he checks to us, I really didn't expect him to check too often. Maybe he's playing his hand face up with either ace-king or some sort of suited Broadway holding. Not entirely sure, but as the preflop aggressor and not the 3-better, this board does hit me harder in my range as opposed to his. So we're going to start bluffing here with ace high. I bet $80 hoping to take it down, but this $80 bet is not going to do the trick just yet. He calls. Going to a turn, which is the ace of hearts. He checks once again, and this is just a beautiful card for us. Somehow bluffed our way into top pair, and there's definitely merit to be checking back and letting him bluff rivers. But anyways, I can get value from ace-jack, ace-10, other random hands that floated on the flop, so I bet $130. He thinks about it for a little bit and ends up folding. So nice to win these 3-bet pots in 5-10, as they do add up and build up pretty quickly. Next, looking down at king-jack of clubs in the small blind. There's a hijack player who limps. Limping is not going to work for me. I'm going to raise it up to 40. Folds around to the hijack, and he calls. Flop comes 8, 9, 10 rainbow. No clubs here, but we are open-ended. I'm going to bet small here with our open-ended draw to $30, trying to build a pot and definitely expecting his limping range to smash this board. As expected, he does call for 30. Going to a turn which comes the 8 of clubs. It's not ideal on a paired board, and I'm going to check here hoping to see a free river, but it doesn't go to that as he throws out a bet of $50. Really small sizing, and I'm never folding here as a queen gives us the nuts straight, so that'd be cool. I call, and let's see a river. The river is the queen of hearts. Nuts straight is pretty nice for us. I'm hoping he has a hand like Jack 10 or something like that. I fire out $140, but no value for us as he quickly folds. An orbit or two goes by back in the small blind with pocket queens. The early position player opens it up to $30. There's a button call for 30, and on the small blind, yeah, we're definitely going to put in the 3-bet. I size to $150 out of position, and unfortunately both fold pretty quickly, but given it is 5-10, it is a nice way to take down $70 pre-flop. Let's take a quick break in the video and talk about a self-starter project that I've spent a lot of time working on, and it's Passion Prints, and this design I've spent a lot of time working on and I'm super happy with. You can't change the cards you're dealt, change the way that you play your hand. I mean, I'm a big fan of this one. I saw the quote online, so I can't take credit for it, but this is a design, something that I'm just super happy with, and I'm definitely going to be hanging this up in my room or in a future man cave whenever I get that going, but it's big. It's great quality, and honestly, the design's awesome. Thank you guys so much for all the support when you guys ordered all of the jackpot canvases, but yeah, the Passion Prints, it's a self-started canvas and kind of art online business that I'm starting up here, and I'm just trying to take some of the little creative abilities that I do have and trying to make some cool artwork with it. So if you're interested in getting one of these, would really appreciate it. I'm trying to sell them for a pretty low price compared to what other competitors do for. So if you want to use my code RAMPAGE at checkout for 10% off of your entire order, please do that. But check it out, passionprints.us. High quality stuff. Super happy with this one. If you want to check out any other designs, feel free to do so on the website. But click the link down below to check out this bad boy. And if you liked anything else, feel free to check out the website. Thanks so much for the support, and let's get back into the hands. In this spot, we look down at ace queen once again, and this time in middle position. I open things up to $30, and action folds to the big blind, who looks like he's going to fold, but instead opts for a call for only $20 more. So we're going to see what happens on the flop here. Seems like he got a pretty marginal hand. Flop comes 10-8-3 rainbow. He checks, and onto me. I think sometimes I can certainly c-bet this, but for this instance, I don't know. I flip a coin and decide to check it back, so that's what we do. The turn comes, the ace of hearts brings in a backdoor flush draw and another miracle card for us when he checks. I'm going to size up for value and throw out a bet of $40. Sometimes I think that this larger sizing can look a little bit bluffy, and maybe he's thinking that in his head as well, because now he raises to $160. 4x my bet out of position. We have definitely near the top of our range hand, and I don't see him checking with two pair twice, so I'm a little confused. I'm not sure what to do, but definitely folding is out of the question. I make the call for 120 more and evaluate a river. The river is the jack of clubs. Ugh, I really hate this board with one pair. It's not too comfortable, but he thinks about it and luckily checks to us. I think we have an easy check back spot with top pair, good kicker, good showdown, and really hard to get value from a lot of hands. When we check it back, he shows king 6 of hearts for a bricked flush draw. It's nice to not face a river bet there because we would have been put in a pretty tough position, but probably would have made a call. Once again, back at it with ace queen offsuit and the small blind. There's an only gun open to 30, +1 makes the call, action folds to me. No need to bloat up a pot in the small blind here. We're already playing 5-10. Let's just call for $30 and see a flop. 3 ways to the flop, which comes queen 9 for rainbow. Another amazing board for us with top. Fairly dry, and there's very few draws. I check. On the gun bets out $40. +1 makes the call, and now onto me. I'm out of position, and I think we definitely have to just protect the strength of our hand here. So I'm going to put in a raise, put in that check raise with top to $200. Action onto the under the gun player who thinks about it and ends up folding, which is really nice because if there was a player that we were behind, it would be him with pocket kings, sometimes pocket aces. It's nice for him to fold here. So now onto the other +1 player, and he tanks for a while and thinks over his options and actually ends up making the call. Really surprised by this action in line by him, but I'm going to put him on a draw of some sort and see a turn. The turn comes the 7 of clubs. Well, the board is very wet and we don't lose to any immediate draws, but it does bring in the possibilities of a lot of combo draws as well. So out of position here, as the check raiser on the flop, I'm going to do something very unorthodox from my playbook and actually check, mainly for pot control, and if I think that he is on some sort of combo draw or might have improved, we don't want to bet and face a raise and really bloat up the size of the pot out of position. I think our hand is good right now, and if the equities are running fairly similar, I think we want to control the size of the pot, and I assume most combo draws are going to bet this and try to get a fold out of me as well. Anyways, I take a very weird line by checking, and he thinks for a while and actually ends up checking it back, maybe for equity realization or maybe just a weaker queen. Anyways, the river comes another 7. This is pretty much the perfect card we can ask for. Really got to expect our hand to be good here now, and I don't want to let this check through in case he does have a queen. So definitely trying to get value from that. I throw out a bet of $170 now, but he doesn't think too long before folding. So I guess we might have missed some value on the turn there, but I wanted to keep the pot a manageable size. Rapid fire through these hands, King 10 of hearts in the hijack, and there's a +1 open to 30. I've seen this player play fairly tight and narrow ranges, so we're going to be cautious on the flop here when I call and the cutoff calls. 3 ways to the flop, which comes King 4-8 rainbow. +1 throws out a c-bet of $30. Obviously with top pair, not the best kicker in the world. It is an easy spot to continue and hopefully see some card to improve us to some sort of draw on the turn. And along with me calling, the cutoff calls as well, so we're still going 3 ways to the turn. The turn is the 7 of diamonds, brings in 2 diamonds out there. It is the right color, but the wrong suit for us. +1 thinks and bets out again for 70. I think here with 1 pair, it's definitely a great price to continue, but the issue is I don't really see this player betting twice into 2 other players out of position if it wasn't for value. I certainly can be wrong about this assessment and situation, but given what I've seen so far in the past few hours, I definitely feel like I am behind here more often than not against this player, and I also still have the cutoff to worry about. So in this situation, I don't really fold too many top pairs often, but this time I actually ended up making the fold and let this one go. The cutoff thinks and actually folds himself as well, so we're going to let +1 to take down the pot. Yeah, maybe a little nitty, but we've got to mix in some folds here and there. This hand here is certainly a fun one as we improve and look down at King Queen of spades and the button, +1 limps, and I'm certainly raising this up to $40. Folds around to this limper and he makes the call, and some background information about him. He is an older man and he's actually holding a coffee in hand. So that's all you need to know. That's all I know. Anyways, the flop comes Queen Jack 10 rainbow with 1 spade. He checks to me, and knowing that this player always plays for value, I have a very strong hand, a pretty strong draw as well. Let's see if we can get 2 streets of value here, and I decide to just check this back. The turn comes the 7 of clubs. It's not a spade, but it's still fine. Now he actually throws out a bet of $60. Like I said, I know that he's always playing for value, and I'm a little concerned about this bet, but I'm never folding here, so I call. The river comes the 9 of spades. It is beautiful, sitting with the second nuts, and I really don't ever think he's limping from early position with ace king, so I think we've got to be good here. Good news, he throws out another bet of $100, and here's the thing with this bet. Certainly a raise is definitely the play to go with, but I don't really know how much value we're going to get if we were to raise a pretty large amount. So we're trying to target lower straight or 2-pair holdings, the bottom of his range. So I sized down to a raise of $250, hoping to pretty much just target crying calls. But when we put in this raise, he announces a 3-bet, and he puts in more chips to $700 total. I mean, we're not going to do anything about this but snap this call off with the second nuts. He shows us king queen offsuits. We show our king queen suited, and we're chopping this pot up. A lot of theatrics, but no blood. From king queen suited, we look down at 1 king, followed by another in the cutoff, and it's dream spots here. I open things up to $30, and we get the big blind to make the call. Same player as last time, he is the older gentleman with coffee in hand. Going to a flop in position, flop comes 8, 9, 3 rainbow. He checks to us, and on this board, certainly putting in a c-bet, we size up to $40, and without too much thinking, he calls for 40. The turn now comes the 4 of spades. Brings in the backdoor flush draw, and he does something a little interesting and puts in a lead, leads out for $60. I think this is a really weird line to take, and I see many of his value hands trying to raise flop, especially sets here, so I'm not really sure what this check call then lead out on the turn line is, But yeah, definitely trying to build a pot, and I'm confident that my overpair is good. So we might be up against some combo draws of some sorts. I'm going to raise it up to $200 and try to get more money in there. And without too much thought, he makes the call. All right, if we're putting him on a combo draw, we're trying to see a brick river. The river is the 3 of spades. It's almost as bad of a good card that I could ask for. Backdoor spade draw gets there, but it's good because we are ahead of every single 2-pair combo imaginable, and also less combinations of sets. Not so good now though, as he takes the hand that was holding his coffee, reaches for a pile of black chips, and throws 5 of them in the middle. Against this player type, this rarely seems like a bluff. I check my cards and look that I am holding the king of spades, so like, I guess we do block some flush draw combinations, but it's pretty irrelevant given the board texture at this point. Some combo flush draws I can be up against are king 10 of spades, queen 10 of spades, and I guess we do block the one combo of king queen of spades. So is he ever overvaluing 8-9 here? I feel like I'm 50-50 with this hero call or fold right now because it is a pretty large amount and it seems like a pretty agonizing spot for us with an overpair. I recently did see him bluff $250 on the river chasing a gutter ball, so maybe he can do some crazy stuff, but against this player type, I'm still pretty uncomfortable. Anyways, I just close my eyes, toss in chips, expecting them to be donated to his direction, but to my surprise, he shows us 8-7 off suits. We take this massive pot down. It's nice to win this one, and our read was just totally wrong against this guy. Definitely not the typical OMC. All right, wrapping things up soon. This hand here is a doozy with ace-10 offsuit on the button, and we're actually doing a round of under the gun straddles. So we're playing 5-10-20. The older person that we played against limps in for $20, confirmed not an OMC. Then the cutoff player, who's fairly new at the table and has been quiet, he raises to $90. Now onto me on the button and in position. I'm not really sure what the play is here. I definitely want to play against this fake OMC player who's been blasting away with 4 deuce offsuit one time. Yeah. So I definitely don't want to scare him out of the way, and if I were to 3-bet, we blow up the size of the pot with a fairly marginal hand, and we get the fake OMC player to fold, so we don't want that. I feel like we can call. I feel like folding is also very much in play as well, so I don't know. I make the call for $90 in position, and the fake OMC player who limped calls as well, so 3 ways to a flop. The flop is queen 5 deuce rainbow, and the limper checks. The cutoff puts in a c-bet of $150. Super dry board, completely whiffed, and we're forced to fold this one. And I want to ask you guys what the optimal pre-flop play is here in this spot. I'm really not sure what to do. It seems like we're really handcuffed and play our hand face up if we were to just flat call like we did now, and we pretty much just bleed out $90. Anyways, we obviously fold. The other player folds as well, and yeah, we're gonna wrap up our session here. So we rack up our chips close to the start of the Super Bowl and get a few drinks with my buddy Carl, who I traveled out to Vegas with, who's also editing this video, so shout out to you. We try to find a nice seat at the Bellagio or somewhere in Vegas to hopefully watch Brady win his 7th Super Bowl ring. We place a fairly nice wager on the Bucks money line as well, and the atmosphere at the Bellagio is absolutely wild and absolutely packed. So obviously recording this after, it was a good night for all Bucks and Brady fans, bad night for all Mahomes fans. What an absolute wild day and session that was. So we cut the session a little bit short, obviously, because the Super Bowl was starting up. So that was a great time. The session was amazing. Watching Tom Brady win his 7th Super Bowl, amazing. And to recap the session, so we played for about 3 hours. We were in the game for 1,600, out of the game for 2,940. So really good profit there for just a few hours. The game was really good. At the end, before I left, we were playing 5-10-20. So that made the game really big, but overall, great day. And we actually play a session later that night at the Flamingo, and action gets absolutely wild. So be on the lookout for the next video. As always, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. The support has been incredible. And be on the lookout for the next video because you don't want to miss that one. Peace.